They want us to think that we're an insignificant speck of dust, but let me tell you, we are so much more than dust in the wind.
At least 4 billion useless eaters will be eliminated by the year 2050.
I'm still waiting for somebody to show me gas pressure without a container.
I personally don't believe anything they say, right down to the God they claim they worship.
None of the math adds up.
You could stack up all their math books, all their science books, and even put all their degrees stacked up on top of that, and you still wouldn't be high enough to see the curvature.
This is exactly why grounding is so important.
We see too far.
We're just regular people who know we're being lied to. We're tired of it.
The bottom line is, there's only one choice left, and that's to dismantle this whole thing from the top down.
So anyway, yeah, Kaleb, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you first? So let's get that out of the way.
Kaleb.fe on TikTok. Basically, I post my link tree in my TikTok bio, also my Instagram bio and my X bio. So I'm at Kaleb5D on X. But my link tree is in all my socials, so everybody can pretty much find all my socials if they just find one of my accounts that has my link tree listed. So
Awesome. So where we usually like to start with people is, I always like to know how did you find Flat Earth? Was this the first thing you came to? Did you find other things first, which is normally how it works, or how did it work for you?
I woke up to the vaccines, obviously. I saw what was going on with that and the obvious misinformation around the medical information that was being portrayed in the public eye by the mainstream media. I saw that first. I saw everybody, getting injured, things like that, and that really sent me down a path of seeking what is going on. And through that, I think just randomly, because of the algorithm, because I was looking up stuff against that, Flat Earth Dave popped up on my YouTube. And I remember watching this one podcast that he did with this radio interviewer. And I was I saw it, Flat Earth, or it was titled something like Flat Earth is Valid, or the truth is that the earth is flat. And I saw that title. I'm like, that was the first time. I honestly didn't even know people still believed in Flat Earth coming out of school. Because if you don't know, I'm 26 years old. So I graduated in 2015. And I've been in this movement for about 3 years now.
You're a young buck.
So when I graduated, coming out of high school, I had no idea that people still believed that the earth was flat, or knew. Sorry, belief is the enemy of knowing.
Yes,
we know the earth is flat, obviously. So my bad on that language there. But I saw that title and it immediately triggered me, because I'm somebody that likes to know what I'm talking about. I've always been like that. I don't just vaguely say shiz if I don't know it's true. I'm not going to tell you something about, whatever intricate system that there is out there in specific fields. I'm not going to act like I know everything about it. I'm very humble, and I'm willing to say when I don't know something. And I thought I knew that the earth was a ball. I thought I knew definitively, man, I just graduated high school. I could debate these flat earthers. You know what? I'm going to start a YouTube channel and just become an anti-flat earther against this Dave clown, because it really rubbed me wrong. It really pissed me off. I don't like when people lie, as you guys can probably tell from my social medias. I'm very against people lying, because it directly affects children in the way that they view how special they are, or if they view that a creator exists and that their morals in how they treat people matter. So I saw him say that the earth was flat, and I listened to the podcast, and I was just going crazy the entire podcast, literally pacing around, just listening to this moron who I thought was a moron, just spout nonsense about flat earth. And then, after probably about 2 weeks of me studying his content and just being angry and fueled with hate, but by him saying that the earth is flat so confidently, I studied it. And, it got to a point where I remember there was, and I only knew about Flat Earth Dave. I didn't know about anyone else. And it got to a point where one of his podcasts, he brought up emergency flight path landings. And every other piece of information, I just used cognitive dissonance. I was just like, no, there's no way, appeal to popularity, appeal to authority. That's what I was doing. just, dude, how do all the scientists not figure this out? Like, this dumb David Wise dude has it all figured out. What a moron. That's really how I thought about it. And then he showed emergency flight path landings, and then he linked the book, 16 or however many number of emergency flight path landings that prove a flat Earth. And I deep dove into that book. And then I realized, holy shit, this is like irrefutable. No, like the Earth actually is flat, provably with emergency flight path landings. Like it makes way more sense. Like, why are we crossing the equator thousands of miles on an emergency flight path landing when we're flying from the southern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere? That makes no sense and definitively proves the Earth is flat. So at that point, I was sold. And then immediately after I realized that, I remember I made a video just with pure joy, and it went completely viral on TikTok. And that was the birth of my social media career.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you started off. So you started off thinking that the flat earthers were idiots too. So you can probably see, like, you know, where some of these globies are coming from, and a lot of their logic is just appeal to authority kind of thing, and that's when you know that, you know, there's a chance of talking some sense into them, which you're pretty good at. By the way.
Dude, I really made it my goal to be able to portray it in a way that was irrefutable. I really, like, my goal, honestly, dude, when I do my videos or I record or I do debates, my ultimate goal is to trigger these people so that they go and try to disprove me. Because Dave did that exact same thing to me, and I used to be a raging atheist, dude. I used to believe in evolution. I used to think it didn't matter how you treated people, or, you know, it just doesn't matter. You know, we're gonna die and there's nothing after. So it really bothered me when somebody's saying, "Oh man, the Earth is flat," and that proves God. I was a raging atheist that said, "No way, I'm going to debunk you. You're so dumb for believing in God and believing that the Earth is flat. I'm going to make it apparent to everyone in the world that you're a moron." And then I realized I can't make these people look like they're morons. I got to join them.
That's how it happens. That's how it was a YouTube video, which YouTube, that's where you get everything. No, but that's what sparks the interest. You're like, what the fuck is this? I've never heard of this. At like 2 a.m, and I went down the path, man. And the same thing. That was like 8-9 years ago now.
Yep.
I don't know. It took a long time to be able to come out and do it on social media, because I wasn't on any before. So, like, the fact that you went out so soon and are having such an impact is fucking awesome, man. It's amazing.
Were you still an atheist when you got into
the moment I realized,
okay, so it was
the
come to
moment
God
I realized
moment, literally.
it was a moment that's what I made. I can't remember the original video that I made on my original KCD Industry channel that got banned at like 156,000 followers. But I remember I made the video and I immediately asked the question to my audience, and I had like no followers. I had probably 1,000, probably less. I probably had a couple hundred followers, but I didn't care. I wanted to tell somebody, and that's just who I am. If I know something's true and it blows my mind, I will share it with the world. I don't care what light I'm painted in. It does not matter to me. I don't care if I sound stupid. If it's the truth, it's the truth, and I will share it.
That's
so
exactly
immediately once I realized, okay.
That's exactly why we started these Twitter accounts, because we were like, we have to tell people. We have to. And that's how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you didn't at all. But basically, once I realized the validity of the conversation and realized that David was onto something, I re-looked at his arguments immediately, and I listened to another podcast right after where he talked about high-pressure systems and low-pressure systems and entropy when dealing with the atmosphere coexisting next to the vacuum of space. And it was like a holy shit moment where I realized, okay, man, so if we can't have a pressurized system adjacent to a vacuum, but that's what they're claiming is happening, there has to be some type of container above us. There's got to be some type of firmament, whether it's the biblical version or the Quran's version. I don't know what it is. Obviously, none of us do. We can't, obviously, we definitely won't use spectroscopy to figure that out. That's for sure. But I realized that this necessitates a container. There has to be something above us containing this atmosphere, which definitively proves design. So yeah, I had this holy shit. God is totally true. I need to think about my moral actions from now on. That was literally how it went down. And I made that video saying, how do we have this pressure next to a vacuum when the laws of thermodynamics necessitate that you must have a container to have a pressurized system that has a gradient? So if there's a container, there's literally some type of like dome glass. I don't know what it is. There's something above us, and it freaked me out. And then I looked at all, and then I went outside because nobody knows this, but I actually did professional photography for a little bit. And I have like a $2,700 camera set up with thousands of dollars of lenses, the whole 9 yards, tripods, everything. I went out after I realized this, and I took a time lapse of Polaris. And I'd never done that myself, or hadn't seen I wasn't paying attention, dude. I fully had my head up my ass before I realized this truth. And I went out and took a time lapse of the stars, and I was like, dude, they're all moving at the same rate, and they're all staying the same. And then I looked at the constellations, and I realized, holy shit, Aries is always going to be Aries. Ophiuchus is always going to be Ophiuchus. These stars are literally fixed in the exact same location, just doing a rotation around us. And it really freaked me out. So from then I went crazy, bro. Just deep dove. And I literally, I shit you guys not, I started debating the moment I got 1,000 followers, and I was not very knowledgeable on flat Earth. That's why I don't want to say I'm super knowledgeable. I don't want to sound arrogant like that. But I have very well versed myself in the conversation of all the fields that encompass flat Earth and how to prove it to somebody. So immediately from that moment forward, I went live and I was debating mathematical physicists, people like what's his name? I forgot his name. Thomas. Thomas, if you hear this, I love you, buddy. Either way, I started debating this psychopath mathematical physicist named Thomas, and he was going through all the radius math with me. So I literally learned from the ground up because I didn't have Witsit until like a year and a half into knowing about flat Earth. I didn't know Witsit existed, or I would have been studying him and his logic, and because he's a huge example to me. I very humbly tell people he is a big reason why I progressed in this conversation so quickly, Yeah. So from there, I just kept debating as much as I possibly could. I went live just to smile and tell people the earth is flat and read the comments. I went through all the emotions of letting the globers affect me with death threats and things like that. And eventually it just stopped affecting me. And I just, studied more and more. And now we're here on the podcast with Ted, Bill, Death, and No Curve.
No Curve.
Old No Curve.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Dude, you know what? It amazes me your ability to since you haven't even been in this movement for, super long, just your ability to absorb all this information, especially like the mathematical side of things. Do you have like a physics background or maybe even debate background, or what got you so interested in going that way?
Nah, dude. No, nothing. The Globers are going to clip this up, but I did terrible in school. I truly just didn't care. I was more in it for my friends or girls or, whatever I was doing in high school. I didn't pay attention in school. I just didn't like it. It was dumb. It's not that it was dumb, but it didn't fill me with purpose.
It's
it
busy
didn't make
work.
me feel good.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's almost as if you have this innate sense that a lot of the stuff that they're feeding you is bullshit in school, which we found out that it actually was. Like, dude, this is boring. I don't even know if it's true and no way to verify it. And now we're finding out that a lot of it was bullshit, So
90%.
Good on you, man.
No, that's
not
exactly.
filling your brain up with nonsense. And, math, writing obviously is important, but beyond that, they're just.
I mean, I probably understood it.
Go ahead.
I probably understood it just as much as everybody else. But it wasn't like I was very invested in it. But I believed that enough to be an atheist, right? I believed it enough to be an atheist. I didn't see problems with it enough that I literally believed them, that they were showing me in school, modern day school. I don't know. They probably are going crazy on these kids, bro. They were showing me claimed like Neanderthal skulls, and come to find out is people like Lucy, where they took an orangutan skull and put a human jawbone on the bottom, and they tell children that it's proof that they evolved from monkeys. I was shown stuff like that, and it got me pretty good. I was pretty convinced. I was actually raised LDS, a Latter-day Saint. All my family is Mormon. I grew up in Utah, so I was raised with a Christian background, but it's so weird with Christianity today, and just to keep it fully out there, I'm not religious at all in any way now. But with Christianity today, they don't like distinguish that. Like my parents didn't tell me, hey, Caleb, you know, we believe God created the earth in 6-7 days from the Bible. They believe in the Bible full out. They, and I love it. I think that's great. I don't care what God you believe in. I just care that people believe in God. But my parents they didn't come to me and distinguish that. Like, hey, when you go to school, evolution isn't true. You got to realize that we came about in a different way. We were created by a divine creator. They didn't come to me and say, you know what, Caleb? Hey, look, the Big Bang, it's bullshit, buddy. Don't believe in it. God created the earth, not nothing expanding into everything. Yeah. So I didn't have that laid out to me. And I wish I would have had, the ability to look at that and ask those questions, but I just didn't, purely by the mass amount of my peers that surrounded me, not also asking those questions. So that's why it's really important. Like, I make it a big thing to teach my stepson how to think. I don't tell him, you know what, hey, the earth is flat. The earth is flat for sure. You have to believe this. I don't tell him that. I say, do you think that the earth is flat, or do you think it's round, and why? So we have to teach the next generation how to think, not what to think, which I'm sure this is probably preaching to the crowd, but more for the audience. I'm sure you guys all know this, but it is a really big thing in today's day. And there's a lot of people that have this deficit of not being able to think for themselves and just blindly following academia or anybody in an authoritative position, which Absolutely. We must stomp out. We must, we must demand demonstrable, repeatable. I think so too. I don't want to say honestly. That, everybody, everybody's having an effect. Your guys' posts being able to be reshared, everybody being so confident in speaking about this and publicly being willing to be ridiculed is absolutely necessary. And we have to create and we have to harness that energy into more people, and especially the next generation.
Agreed, dude.
With that, my parents did keep me out of my science class when evolution was being taught. But even with that upbringing, I still got caught up in listening to Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson and shit, and thinking that my parents just didn't know what was going on. And it took it took a lot.
I did the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I did the same thing. I listened to Joe Rogan a ton.
Teaching how to think is really, really important, not just saying what to think.
Mm-hmm. And now because of guys like you, Caleb, I mean, you'll see, I've seen articles and videos of like kids in school challenging their teachers about what the shape of the earth is, and about that age, you have the ability to think for yourself. And I'm just excited to see like how they deal with it, because the teachers are starting to rage too. And they don't know what to do.
Oh, dude, they're not going to be able to. That I always tell people when they ask me, why are you doing this, man? Like, what is the point of this? What's the point? Like, I literally, people think I'm just cashing it, bro. Just making money off of this. I've only lost money doing this. There's no way to monetize this because we're so censored, right? Yeah. Like, I'll get warnings on TikTok. They don't give me money off of my views off TikTok. I make nothing. There are very generous people that will donate to me here and there. But it's, and I don't expect people to. That's why I work my job at the mines. Like, I'm not expecting this community to carry my back when I'm not producing it in a way that I can monetize it. Hence why I'm making my website, where I will make a podcast where people can be members again. And I'll do it without my previous co-host, because there was just conflict with topics and things like that just wasn't necessary, and I didn't agree with. And it was hard for me to get excited about recording. So I'll do it again. I'll do it bigger. And you know what? I don't care if people don't support me. If they want to come and support me so I can do this full time, I guarantee it would be worth it. Because when I was doing it full time with my last podcast, I leveled up in 6 months more than I thought I could ever. Because I was just I was buying physics books, dude. I have like the whole Richard Feynman lectures. I have all of them in writing at my house right now. I've got a bunch of books on relativity. Like, I literally sat there, and I will do the studying for this community. I will stick my nose in the scientific literature, and I will demand that my brain understands it through searching definitions of words and walking myself through it and calling people and being humble and admitting when I don't know something and reaching out to others. And that's essentially how I learned so much that I did in the last 6 months or 8 months, because I was doing it full time for probably like 6 to 8 months, and
Wow.
now I've been working at the mines for about 2 months, almost 2.5 months, and I get my schedule is 5 days on, 4 days off, and then 4 days on, 5 days off. So on my days off, I do have multiple days in a row that I can do. I can crack out a couple books or a couple scientific PDFs and really still learn some stuff. And honestly, my job's pretty chill too. Like, I'm an operator. Sometimes shit hits the fan and you got to go and really shovel for multiple hours. And there's crazy stuff that can happen. But when everything's running smoothly, I really do have time to listen to literature or not listen to literature, or to read literature or watch podcasts. And I'm a really big fan of 3 people right now, which is Alan from Space Audits, Austin Whitsitt, and also Mindshock, Bruce McGuire from the Mindshock podcast.
And the
they
Phone
all
Booth
distribute
podcast
just
also.
insane amounts.
Right?
Yeah, also, yeah, dude. Also this podcast, big factor.
That's good.
No, but you guys are awesome. Definitely. Like, I really like the community on X. Like, if you guys didn't know, I've only been on X like actively probably for like I don't know, like 4 months, and I've grown to 26,000 followers. So
I feel
it's been
actively
freaking lit
less
on
than
X,
that,
dude. It's been a
actually.
ball.
Actively, I feel less than that, because I followed you a ways back, and I mean, unless you were just being super censored.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, he must not use Twitter.
No,
and then all of a sudden, like a month, 2
You might
months
be
ago,
right.
Yeah, I think for a while there, you were
Mhm.
you were kind of just posting stuff that you had on TikTok, right? And that was it. Like,
Yep.
you weren't
Yeah.
posting as much now as you are now.
Yeah, if you're putting
Yeah, I
out
could be
truth,
totally wrong on that.
if you're putting out truth on Twitter, you can grow quick within the community, but you also get super censored. Like, we've I don't know how long it is. February. We've all been on since February. That's it. So we grew quickly, but like, so I have like 50-something thousand followers, and I'll have a bunch of posts that get like 3,000 views. Like, so you're being censored
Yeah.
as fuck, man. It's like it's bad.
And we don't just do Flat Earth either. We're doing everything. We're putting it
Yeah.
all out there, and
Yep.
like,
I
which
mean,
is
you
awesome.
guys see my X feed right now.
Yeah.
We
if you guys go look at my X feed, I'm pretty colorful in the conversations I'm willing to talk about.
Actually, I think Bill wanted to ask you something.
We briefly discussed whether or not to address that, and not.
Yeah, it's up to you guys. You guys know I'm open about it.
So, coming as from your real true calling, perhaps, which we never know, that maybe that's your calling as well. These days are pretty nutty, right? So would you think that the timing of it is right to go to that route? Because I don't think anybody in this room doesn't know what really happened.
Or at least we know what really didn't happen. We don't
Correct.
know.
There you go.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
So we've always just said, when the time is right, maybe then we'll take that dive. You know what I mean? Do you feel now is the time for that part of this awakening?
I feel somebody should have done it years ago. I didn't know. I didn't realize this up until like literally weeks ago. I didn't realize this truth. I had no idea that this was happening, and people were questioning the validity of the claims. And just like Flat Earth, dude, I'm telling you guys, I'm very upfront. I give no fucks. If I hear something and it's true, I will speak it no matter who I offend. I just do not care. I don't care if I get labeled an anti-Semite. I don't care if I get publicly hanged. This is a necessary truth. We must demand people question this narrative. We must show everyone the facts, in my opinion. I don't care if the time isn't right. It is necessary. It is completely necessary to expose this evil hate that is Judaism, that calls for the genocide of white people, Christians, and everyone that doesn't believe in Jewish faith. It's evil. It needs to be exposed. I actually am starting to feel more passionate about it than Flat Earth because it's so censored. I'm trying to figure out a way to get it to the masses, and X has been the only platform that I can openly talk about it. Dude, I talked about it on TikTok. There's this guy.
Good
You
for
guys might know him. Josh Hazelblad. Do you know who Josh
Why
Hazelblad
does
is
that
on
name
TikTok?
sound
He's an
familiar?
anti-flat earther.
Is that
It's
dude,
what is
bald
it?
head?
Doctor. It's Doctor Hazelblad. Yeah. Bald,
Yes, I know.
glasses, weirdo.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and his
Yeah.
TikToks lives are terrible, horrendous. Like he
Yeah.
has the whole floating
he's
disc in
all.
space thing, right? Like that's his whole making fun of us thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay.
live rent free. I live rent free in a couple of those people's heads.
I
And now
imagine.
that they've figured out that I'm publicly, now that they figured out that I'm publicly, shamelessly an anti-Semite in front of everyone, I don't care. I'll say it. These people are circumcising children and then sucking on their privates. No, that genuinely, dude, that makes my blood boil. Like even just saying that and knowing that these people do that openly and fearlessly, that makes me really want to do some shit. You know what I'm saying? But either way, I said some stuff on my podcast that got clipped up and got shared around with everybody calling me an anti-Semite, and I was a little like conscious about it, and I was like worried. Oh my gosh, like. And then I saw Europa: The Last Battle, and I said, "Oh no, this is defendable. I can stand on this foundation. There's proof of this."
That was a
Ellsworth.
rough
they
one for
always-
Bill and I, for sure. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know
that
if
was
Death and Rufus may have seen it too. I believe they have, but Bill and I watched it back to back.
that was 2020 right there for
Yeah.
Ted
That's
and
where
I,
we
and
were in 2020.
We
wow, that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
was,
I mean, do you think it to me it's just like, do you think it's fair to just lump it all in like black and white as like all Judaism
I
is
don't-
evil? You know,
I don't
I mean, in my
personally, but-
opinion, I don't either. But the way that I come at it is like, I mean, you should probably know this because you were kind of in a Mormon community, and there's like all different types of Mormon. You got the strict Mormons who like think coffee's the devil juice and like watch out for every single thing. And then I had my other Mormon homies that would like smoke weed and drink with me and stuff like that too. And you know where I'm going. You're basically, man. I hate to lump everyone
there's good
into,
people
like,
in it.
And I just watch
The
out the way
the problem
you're
with it,
tiptoeing around this, man. And I'm not calling you out or anything.
Differ from your guys's.
Yeah, no,
I get it.
do, man,
no, I get it. I would humbly disagree with you guys on that. Yeah, I would disagree on that. Only for this reason: if the Book of Mormon said something similar to the Talmud, saying that it's okay to rape 3-year-olds, I would go at all of the Mormon community. I would go at them because they should read their book and they should realize that's inherently evil and despicable. So that's why I will clump them all in. All Jews, I personally, in my opinion, they're all complacent in this.
All of them
they need to read the Talmud.
That's
all of them
that's
do?
what I was
but if they
thinking,
don't,
too. Like, there's a lot of Catholics
The
that
problem
don't know
is-
the Bible and stuff like that, and it's just kind of
yeah,
part of a ritual that
that's-
their family has been a part of. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, that's just their problem. That's not my problem. If they're going to believe in the religion and their religious text says that it's okay to rape 3-year-olds, I don't care if they haven't read it. They're stupid then. I don't care to offend them. I don't care for them. They're complacent and they are the problem.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Oh no, you're entitled to your opinion.
Dude, this
no
is what
one
we're
here
for.
is going to tell you not to have an opinion, and no one here is going to attack you for having an opinion at all. I promise you that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I'm not saying it's from everyone's perspective. I'm just saying that I agree with you that if you represent yourself as something, you should know the whole thing. But there's a lot of people, a lot of Catholics don't know a lot of the bad shit that Catholicism has either. So it is ignorance. You're absolutely correct that it's ignorance. I cannot argue that. And they should learn it. And if more people did, I think a lot more people would drop a lot of religions because they're all fucking bullshit.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is why I asked, is it the right
that's
time?
why, that's why I go at it the way I go.
Yeah, well, you came
That's
hard.
why I go at it the way I go.
You came right out the gate,
Dude, just but always
high
you're being you. That's what I fucking hate, because when I see people call you a shill, like, call him what you want. Call him an asshole. Call him fucking say he has a big ego, whatever. Say that. But fucking at least listen to what he's saying And if you want to disagree with him, say what the fuck you actually disagree with. Don't attack him personally. If he's wrong, say where he's wrong. Don't fucking attack his personality. Who gives a fuck about his personality? It's the message, not the messenger.
Yes, dude. I mean, there's no doubt that you're passionate about what you're talking about, and it's coming from yourself and no other shill motive or whatever they want to call it out. So they call it for what it is.
I've been called a shill. Little old me, fucking nobody. They call me a shill. I'm like, please show
CIA.
Something. Because if you fucking show something, I would love to see it because that's fucking awesome. Because there is nothing. Fucking show me something because I want to frame it on my wall. Because there is nothing. I am not shilling. I believe what I believe.
Fear. A lot of it's out of fear and just anger and disgust, and they're indoctrinated. That's why I was going back to what I was saying is it time, because right now is Flat Earth's time, right? I feel like Flat Earth is the keystone to almost everything. If you get people woken up to the fact that they've been lied to their entire life about the shape of the Earth, like the most primitive thing that we've been taught since day one, that opens up their minds to, oh my gosh, probably everything they've told us is a lie, including history, including certain aspects of history like we're talking about right now, So that's why I was saying, do you think we have the numbers yet to be able to go so direct and so hard at them, or can we kind of ease into it a little bit? Or what are your thoughts on that? How do we approach this at this time? Are they ready?
At this current moment, I don't care. It's so evil. I mean, you guys have seen. I mean, if you've seen Europa, the last battle, dude, it's bad. It's really, really bad, bro. It's evil as shit. So I'm killing two birds with one stone as far as this is concerned.
How do you get everybody to watch an 8-hour documentary? I mean, it's kind of hard.
I will keep posting about it. So people, this is my tactic right now. This is my tactic. Going and being publicly an anti-Semite. I know a lot of my audience will say, whoa, why is Kaleb saying he's an anti-Semite? And when they ask that question, they will come to me and they will ask me, why are you saying the things you're saying? That's evil. Because if somebody, even when I heard people deny the Holocaust as a flat earther before I had this documentary, before I had the truth around the invalidity of the Holocaust, and I thought it was evil. I thought it was sick. And I immediately wanted to know, why are you in our community representing the Holocaust as fake, or maybe not fake, or misrepresented, whatever? We can't know. It was like over 100 years ago. How are we supposed to figure out what happened back then? Yeah. And they also made it illegal to talk about. So that also doesn't help too. So there's not a lot of stories that were passed down. But I want people to ask that question. I know a lot of people, maybe I shouldn't, be, confident in saying a lot of people respect me, but I think I've made a lot of people curious. And I did this the same way that I did with Flat Earth, where I went openly. I'm a flat earther. I think the earth is flat for this reason, this reason, and this reason. And it drove people crazy because I'd smile into a camera and confidently say it. And I will confidently smile into a camera and say I'm an anti-Semite until the entire world realizes what these Jews have done. That's my goal.
There you go. I mean, and have you thought about, has anybody expressed, like, in the upper echelons of Flat Earth that you kind of surround yourself with? Have any of them?
No.
I would just say a lot of people
they're
turn
all on board.
Eric
they all know,
Dubé
dude.
Also. A lot of people turn on
I
Dubé
turn on
over
Eric.
this.
I don't like Eric.
No, I just mean a lot of.
I don't like Eric.
A lot
personally.
of the stuff we see in our comments all the time is, "Oh, you're gonna back a Holocaust denier." So I'm just saying that's what
that's what they want to do.
I know. I mean, it's always
if
a
everybody's
weapon.
cool about it, that's a good sign. That's the only reason why I was asking about it. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna get
that's Bill. I will tell you this. Let me tell you this. I have influence over all of the community, and I'm not saying that in like an arrogant way. It's just a fact. Like, I have connections to everyone. I have connections to Crow. I have connections to Jeranism. I have all their numbers, personal phone numbers. I can reach out this whole community. And I've made these posts, and they've been shared around, and people have done nothing but thank me, because a lot of people are too scared to speak up. I am not one of those people. It makes me want to cry. It makes me so mad knowing what happened, bro, and knowing that children are being treated this way by this religious sect. It makes me sick. Dude, it literally fuels me with rage. It makes me want to say some crazy shit right now. I won't, but it makes me want to say some really crazy stuff that I will not allow to be clipped up. But I will say circumcising children and sucking on their privates is so evil and so demonstrably wrong that I will speak up. I don't care who I lose, but I have lost nobody but morons on X. Only people that are dumb flat earthers that are like, oh my gosh, you're denying. People that were like me when I first heard somebody deny the Holocaust. But that's the goal. If I publicly am an anti-Semite and talk down to Jews and talk bad about Jews, a lot of the community and a lot of Globers are going to clip it up and share it with the world. And people are going to ask, why is this dude talking with this much vigor about this subject that's so hush-hush? I just truly don't care. I don't care if it's the wrong time. It needs to be the right time for the children of the next generation, for the future of the free world. It needs to happen now by somebody. And if I need to be that someone, I will step forward.
There you go. I totally respect it, dude. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I was just curious, like to you know what I mean, to kind of find your position on that, and like try to think outside the box a little bit and say, well, you know what I mean, like you're already ready, you're expecting what's going to happen no matter what, but I see your long range, I see the long game in it, you know what I mean, because they're eventually going to get there no matter what. So
everybody's reacted like you, where, you know, a lot of people have seen those documentaries, man. There's a reason why there's hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views on the Austrian painter or Adolf Hitler on TikTok right now. They label him as the Austrian painter, and there's people getting hundreds of thousands of likes right now. There is already a huge mass awakening happening to what the Jews have done to us. So, in my opinion, yes, it is the right time. But even if it was the wrong time, it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? But with your question, yeah, I've gotten nothing but respect from everybody because, you know, a lot of people have families. A lot of people are worried about dying. I'm just not one of those people. I just don't care.
Awesome. Gotta respect that. Guys.
Very
extremely... It was quiet.
Sorry to take the conversation there, but
hey, it wasn't me this time.
Well, I mean,
for once,
no veil here. You know,
I'm passionate about it,
and we want to get, you know, something, a part of you said on here that maybe either hasn't been said yet or won't be said anywhere else for a while, you know. So we appreciate your candid remarks on that, and I respect it no matter what, dude, you know.
Yeah, you guys should be able to tell. I will speak my truth. I will say what I feel is right, and sometimes I'm gonna be wrong. But in this aspect, I know I'm not wrong. It's so obvious. The quotes, it's so bad. It's so inherently evil. It has to be talked about. We cannot let these people stop us from talking about this subject under the guise of the word anti-Semitic. I will not allow it. I will own that word, and I will force it onto the public to look into this at the detriment of myself. I just truly don't care, man.
Which anti-Semitic was a construct anyway. It's just like racism, just like all that. It's all
they created it
exactly. Yeah, just like the cure they created for the you know, disease that they created as well. So same thing.
It's just like calling somebody a flat earther. It's a great trigger word. If you own that trigger word, it's only going to help you spread. And the whole goal of me doing this is not to become famous or whatever. It's to spread the truth. I feel like I am a vessel for God, and I need to do this because I have the cognitive ability to do this and debate any of these subjects in a public setting. And, you know, there's not a lot of people that can recall things, or maybe it's not even recall. I'm just extremely passionate about it. I don't know why, but it really bothers me that they teach children that they don't matter, that they're in this forever expanding universe on a dust ball tucked away in some part of a galaxy that doesn't matter and came from nothing. It bothers me. It bothers me the way that this religious sect has treated the community, the obvious quotes that they've made, their rituals. It's not cool, man. I will expose all evil. I don't care. I just don't. That's going to be the main the main theme of this entire podcast. I just don't care. I want the truth, and I don't care how it comes about. I don't care if people hate me. I don't care if I lose my following. I don't think I will, though. I speak the truth, and people can see that. So that's like everyone. I don't want to name people, but a lot of people have mad respect for what I'm doing on X right now, and I will fearlessly do it no matter what light I'm painted in. I just don't care.
I support your right to say whatever you want, no matter what it is, no matter who agrees with it, no matter who doesn't. You should always be able to say whatever you want. But so for all the people listening, we've been having a lot of people tell us like you guys go over a bunch of next level stuff. Like, can you do more of the basic flat Earth stuff? So for the newer flat earthers who are listening, can you understand or explain your progression into it and how, like, the kind of steps you took that got you so confident in it? Like, was it seeing too far, or was it, this rotation, that thing, or whatever it was? So, like, the more basic stuff, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody's seen that clip of Bill Nye the Science Guy where he's like, we know the Earth is a ball because you can watch a boat go over the horizon and we can tell it's going over the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, we
like
made
that.
fun of that
and
a
then
couple
when you
times.
realize, when you look at stuff like that and you realize that it's just happening because of angular resolution, you can zoom it back in. I mean, that in and of it's just that one very simple idea that I just postulated should make Globers question. If they say that the boats are disappearing because they're going over a geometric or a physical horizon, you should not be able to zoom them back in ever again. And when we do zoom them back in, that's a problem with Bill Nye's claim. I mean, there's that. That's an obvious one that really, like, at very basic, that made me start questioning stuff. Like, how do our vision work? Like, how do we view reality? And I looked into point perspective and these different, like, how to draw, reality, how to draw perspective. Like, if you were to draw a road going away from you, and looking out to a mountain, how do you draw that? How do you make it look like our eyes actually see? And you realize angular perspective and the laws of perspective all explain why things disappear from bottom up. Fluid dynamics and hydrodynamics and hydrostatics, or fluid statics and fluid dynamics. I think it doesn't matter either way that you say it, but basically studying water when it's stationary and when it's moving. Water doesn't, I mean, this is very basic flat earth stuff like you guys asked for, but water doesn't convex at the surface. It never will. It takes the shape of its container and it lays level. So realizing that, I had another oh shit moment when I realized that about water, and it's demonstrable, it's repeatable, it's observable. Every time that we look at water, I realized, holy shiz, there has to be a container to the ocean, which proved to me that Antarctica is an ice shelf. And then you look into the narrative, and it's admittedly an ice shelf over 200 feet above sea level. So it could theoretically act as a container, which it is. So there's really simple stuff like that. But even like looking at Marconi's propagation of radio waves over the ocean that went 2,000 miles, you have to believe in some plasma, positively charged plasma part of the atmosphere that reflected it down to the water, bounced off the water, went back to the sky. Like, it just makes no sense. Maybe he just propagated the radio waves horizontally over the surface of the earth, and it just went over the surface of the earth the entire way because the earth's flat. Maybe that's, if we use Occam's razor with a lot of these topics, it will lead you to flat earth. It's just people don't understand logic. They'd never heard the word Occam's razor. They never heard which side of the claim has the positive or has the burden of proof, positive or negative. If people like literally without studying flat earth, in my opinion, if anybody that wanted to start to get into this topic studied logic first, they studied logical fallacies, they studied burdens of proof, and they studied Occam razor, they would be so much farther. It would take them so much less time to get to where I'm at. It would blow your mind. We need to study and teach logic. Hence why I'm such a huge fan of Bruce McGuire from the Mind Shock podcast. He's not even a flat earther, but he deduces reality with logic. And hearing him talk changed my entire life, talking about logical fallacies and these different things. And thank God he's actually I messaged him in DMs, in private DMs, and he actually messaged me back. and he's going to be a host on, not a host, but he's going to be a guest that comes on to my podcast once my new website is launched, which I think that will be a super sought after conversation to hear me and him go back and forth about, ideas of flat earth and logic and stuff like that. So it'll be a very cordial, very cool conversation. I think we both have an extreme amount of respect for each other. So I'm very excited for it. But the basic truths, dude, I mean, just study logic. You'll figure it all out.
Yeah. You definitely will.
Great point. Great point. Common sense is dead. We're trying to revive that,
Yeah. It drives me nuts, dude.
It really is.
The fact that I can have so much specificity about the laws of thermodynamics or entropy or inertial systems or reference frames or coordinate systems, and the fact that people can still call me dumb, it's really triggering. So it just fuels me to keep doing it because common sense is not common anymore.
When you already know that it's crap, right? Like it's like I already know all of your crap. I'm showing you that I've learned your crap. But you don't want to come over here and learn our truth, right? So,
it's wild. Go listen to like one. If you go, I remember about a year ago, I started watching Austin Whitsitt debate on MDD, and I would look at the live chat because, dude, the things that he's saying, he's just gas, bro. He's just good at this shit. He's just one of those dudes. And listening to him speak, it was moving. It was really moving, and I've really made it a goal. I hope people one day will look at me as people look at Austin Whitsitt when he debates. That's my ultimate goal because he really did change my life. Like I'm like a fanboy of Austin Whitsitt, and people say it all the time. Like they call me a mini Austin Whitsitt, and that is the biggest compliment I've ever received in my entire life. But being able to watch Austin articulate himself with such specificity on these platforms and these debate platforms, and be able to call logical fallacies as they are said, is truly an art. And for people to sit in the chat and call him stupid, dude, that rubs me so wrong. It makes me so angry, and it lets me know this is necessary. What I'm doing, and I'm not everyone's cup of tea, as you guys have seen on X, especially after today. Actually, a lot of flat earthers don't like me. I'm very intense. I would say I'm much more intense than Austin in a debate form, but it's because I demand it. I demand God's creation be respected. I truly, man, there'll be times where I'll be sitting in my bed at like 9 o'clock at night, and I'll have the most like strong voice come into my head and tell me to write a tweet or something and tell me the context. And like, it just comes to me. It's weird. Maybe you guys don't believe me. And not everyone's going to believe me, but it's real. It really does happen. Like I'll even tell my girlfriend, we'll be sitting there and I'll be like, we'll be like watching something. I'll be watching something completely unrelated to flat earth. And immediately I'll stop and I'll pause everything and I'll start writing out a tweet because it just comes through the ether to me. It's really special. And I can't ignore it. I can't ignore the guidance that I have received from the creator in the fashion in which he's told me to portray his message. And there's going to be nice flat earthers that, want to give more respect to these people and things like that. And I think that's great. I think it's necessary in some cases. In other cases where we have people like Craig or people like Michael Toon or people like Simon Dan, I don't feel the need to be nice. There's certain people that I will be extremely cutthroat with, and I will demand evidence. I will demand proof. I don't care how I come off to any flurf. I don't care. I'm very intense. I'm like this in person too at my job. If you say some dumb shit to me, I'm gonna be intense. I'm sorry. Like I can't hear. I'm very intolerant to it, and maybe that's a flaw in me. But a lot of people have mad respect for it. So I'm not gonna change who I am. I don't care who I offend. I don't care whose toes I step on. I will portray God's creation in the most ruthless, obvious way that I possibly can, because that's what will stir up the world to try to prove me wrong, and they can't.
There you go.
I respect that. I respect you doing what you believe in. That's really all.
Ted and I
matters.
know a little bit about that. We know a little bit about rattling some cages.
I've heard. I've heard you guys. I love it, dude. I love it, bro. I love it.
Yeah,
I seriously do. I love it. For some reason, I've always loved contention. I've always loved contention. Like I've always liked listening to it. Not that I seek it or anything like that, but I have no problem with contention. I do not fear contention. I do not fear arguments. I do not fear proving what I believe in because it's demonstrable. So sometimes it's necessary. I think we should do our best to keep our cool. But with some of these people, they don't deserve it, man. Like people like Craig, he doesn't deserve. He does not deserve my respect. I will not be respectful to him. A lot of people in the comment sections of that debate that we did on Jeranism, maybe not a lot. There was probably like 5 or 6 flirfs that came in and they're like, you know what, man? I think the earth is flat, but the way Kaleb came at this with like so arrogant and rude, that's not cool, man. I mean, that's totally not cool. Now I don't like Kaleb. And guess what? If one of you guys is listening to this, I don't care. I don't care if you don't like how I treated Craig. You don't see the messages that Craig sends me.
Right.
You don't watch the live streams of the lies that he perpetuates to children. You don't see his anti-God narrative. I am intolerant to it. It makes me nauseous. It makes me sick. It's evil and it's stupid. So I will not be respectful to certain anti-flat earth proponents. They will get the smoke and they will get all of the smoke. I will not be chill. I will be completely ruthless. I won't make our community look bad in the fact that I'm just ad homing, but I will be aggressive in the way that I portray God's creation. I've received divine inspiration to do so as well, I feel like.
And you can't lie. I mean, attention is good for it as well. Even in even the crazy attention, right? Even the dramatics. It's good because it brings more attention to the entire thing. And they're like, what is driving these people? You know, people are going to question that. Like, what is this drive? They can't be that stupid. There's no way. And they're continuing to do it, even though they know it's a globe. Yeah. And they're not making any money.
Yeah.
So what is it? And then hopefully at least one out of those 10 or 15 people will go look into it and then tell 2 of those 15 people, hey, there's kind of something here, guys. Like, got to check this out. And it's probably how it's been going down.
Dude, we've gotten hundreds of messages, just like I'm sure you have, of people like people who were talking shit to us at first, messaging us privately saying, you know, I thought you were an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And now I see it. And now they're in there being warriors. It's fucking awesome, man, to see. It's amazing to see.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I switch the gears a little bit?
Truth.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Yeah. Let me say one more thing, and then for sure, you can switch the gears. Just to wrap up that conversation, I mean, that's why I go at both of these topics that we've discussed today in the way that I do. I know because I know from personal experience that you have to trigger this into people. The amount of indoctrination that has been given to everyone and the children of today is so extreme, so methodical. Sometimes the only way to get people out is to trigger them, to force them to try to prove us wrong. So,
yeah,
absolutely. That's our whole shtick, man. That's our whole shit.
I was like,
I will say at the aggressive thing,
I like that.
You're a little better than ours. Than us, but we fucking, dude. And it wasn't our original plan.
The only reason I am.
Go ahead, yeah.
The only reason I am is because I've done it from the start. You know what I'm saying, dude? I used to just blow up. I used to get so mad when I couldn't answer a question. But I went through those hard times on TikTok. Thankfully, where the lives delete right after, so they're not recorded anywhere. But dude, I have not been like this the whole time. No, I used to be really bad, man. It used to be really easy to get me to say some crazy shit. Yeah. But now I've done a lot of meditating. I mean, I've got a kiddo in the house. They'll teach you patience, if anything. I've got a kid on the way now with my girlfriend. So and my work, my job.
Congratulations.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. Thanks, man. We've been trying for multiple months, so it's truly a blessing. I thank God for allowing us to have a child. It's very special. But also at my job too.
Awesome, man.
Thank you. Yeah. But at my job specifically, I deal with some of the dumbest people in the world. Just alcoholics, just morons, just people that can't figure out like very basic mechanical things with conveyor belts, things like that. And, at first I was really intolerant to really stupid people there. I'm just not somebody, I don't mind contention. Like we can throw hands. I just don't care. I just truly don't. If I need to beat your ass, I will. Like that's how I am at work. I'm very cutthroat, but I can also be the nicest guy in the world. You know what I'm saying? So at work, I think God placed me with the dude that I work with at work right now. And thank heavens he's moving on to a different circuit. But the dude I work with is possibly the dumbest human being I've ever met in my entire life. And at first, he really triggered me, dude. he really, really bothered me. Just the dumb shit that he'd come to, because I very much value my time. So coming to me and saying some dumb shit or asking a dumb question, I'm gonna get triggered. I'm gonna call you a moron. I'm probably gonna be really, really mean. It's just who I am. I can't control it. And some people like that, some people don't. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But it's really taught me patience. I think God put me in this situation at this job to teach me patience. Hence why I've waited to call out these anti-flat earth proponents at the top until I could conduct myself in this way. I'm going to have moments where I flare up a little bit, but for the most part, it's really hard to trigger me to the point where I say some really crazy stuff nowadays. Like I can usually keep my cool and I can think very consciously when I'm hearing some really stupid shit. And I can ask the hard questions while I'm hearing it to prove the model wrong or right. So,
dude, you can say you're getting better, but I told the dude I was gonna stab him in my first debate. So I went from that.
Hey, I've been there
to just calling them stupid.
Yeah, you know what you need to do, Ted? You gotta just debate more, dude. If you can, and you gotta like in the moment, you gotta realize these people are all that they have is rage baiting you. That's all these people have. The truth is on our side. Not only the truth, but the creator. The creator is on our side. There's no reason to allow these people to trigger you to the point where you death threat or anything like that. And I have done it. I've literally done that too on TikTok. So I get it. But you'll get better. I do some meditation.
Yeah.
And all I can tell you is debate more.
I've been grounding before everything now, and I've been doing better. But that was my first go round.
Because that's kind of what I wanted to lead right into was, so obviously on Twitter, your handle is Kaleb5D, right? You want to elaborate on the fifth dimension, ascension, and all the new age kind of, I hate to say new age, but that's how a lot of people, identify with it.
Dude.
I know, I did, but that's how people identify. So there's a lot of contention, right, in the truther quote unquote community about, this mystery school stuff, or is it shadowing as like another form of masonry or cult? Do you want to elaborate on that and like the dimensions and all that and how it kind of ties in with flat earth? Do you know enough about that?
I mean, I don't really see it like that. Like the reason I have 5D is more or less because I had Unearthing 5D Reality as my podcast name.
Okay.
So I don't really see things as like a dimensional, type thing. I just more see it as a raising of consciousness and a figurative way to say that. So if that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, well, because there's a lot of people that say that literally, instead of figuratively, they literally talk about this as dimensions and like we ascend, this raising.
I'm not one of those people.
Okay, so that's where more or less I wanted to ask, because as soon as people have like 5D, 3D, 4D, 10D, whatever it is next to their name, people are always like, "Oh, you're caught up in that," and it's another form of Kabbalah and blah blah blah. So
people say a lot.
I think it's.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I use it more as just a metaphor to say that, my consciousness is raised as far as knowing truth. Not that I'm above anybody else, but I would definitely not relate it to any mystery school or anything like that. We do the exact opposite as far as I believe you guys do, and me. I don't hold back any truth, like you guys have learned very, very thoroughly through my ex. If I hear something and I see quotes that can back it up, I'm going to speak it. I just do not care. The truth. I'm not trying to hide anything. I want like people will come to me and ask me, and I know there's gatekeepers in this community that want to seem smarter than other people. I am not one of those people. I want other people to be smarter than me. I wish there were more people like me in Austin in a debate setting destroying these fools. We need to create an army. We need to really push this form of logic and this way of deducing reality onto more people, because there will be more incredible soldiers that I hope are better than me that come to the front lines and they say, this is wrong and this is why. And it needs to happen. So I'm not trying to gatekeep anything. I hate masonry. I hate the Knights Templars. I hate, I just, don't like some people. I don't like secrecy.
I was going to say, do you have anything you like? You want to...
I love the flat earth community, buddy.
My man.
That's awesome. It's
I like
hard
the
to find
truthers,
something
man.
to like.
I like people that seek the truth unequivocally.
Amen to that. There's more and more every day. More now than there was 6 years ago. Isn't that right, Ted?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
It was
Dude,
very ghostly then. It was very ghostly.
It was.
I mean, would you say the truth is like adaptable and it's just something that we're all trying to achieve, but it's not so black and white,
Yeah.
cut and dry, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I mean, I think we just all need to be willing to adapt and change our stance sometimes, and be strong about what we believe, but also just know that things can come up, and the truth isn't always as cut and dry as we think it is, because we live in a world of deception. So
yeah, and that's a good point, Rufus, because obviously there's a lot of contention with, okay, who is God, right? What is God? Is it a creator? Are we God? And there's all this thing going on, right? And I don't know if it's like intentionally divisive or something like that, but it always seems like I've seen a lot of people like separate, you know what I mean? Like, Caleb, you could probably back me up on this. Like, there's flat earthers that were once friends and then are no longer over something that's so stupid, right? That neither one of them can prove, yet they just believe so wholeheartedly on one way or the other,
yeah, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. Good
right.
point,
And we end up like dividing because of it. It's crazy. What do you think? What do you think we can do to meet on that?
I don't know. I mean, there's always, we're humans. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that very quick, that we are humans, and I'm not going to be able to cater to everybody, including flat earthers. I'm not going to be able to. A lot of people don't like me because I'm not Christian. They hear my message, and a lot of the times I do praise God. I do it a lot in my life. I get all glory be to God for creating this creation, and I thank God that He manifested Himself to me through His creation. And a lot of people will hear me say that and be like, "Oh, you must be a Christian." Like, of course you're a Christian. Like, who? That's a Christian thing to say. And I will have to humbly tell them, "No, I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not a part of any religious denomination." And just me publicly praising God, but not being a Christian. I have a lot of flat earthers that don't like me. Just like, look at Jeranism. Jeranism is very outspoken against Christianity, and I applaud him for that, because could he make more money being a Christian and acting, saying the Bible is the word of God, these things that Christians say, and like, could he make more money saying that? Of course, he would get more donations, he would have more subscribers if he went along with the narrative. But he speaks his truth. I have mad respect for Jaren for doing those live streams. Like, anybody, I mean, obviously you guys can see with how I run my profiles, I'm very outspoken with how I feel about things. And for somebody to speak their truth, no matter if they think they're going to lose their following, or if people are going to dislike them, if they're still willing to say those hard things to say, I have nothing but the utmost respect for those people. And I would literally die for Jared just because he does that. I would die for you guys too. I would die for my entire community. I just don't care. This is a temporary existence in consciousness, and I will do as much as I can to raise that consciousness so that we can live in a free world and give food and water and the gift of God's true knowledge to everyone. Everyone deserves to hear this message. Hence why I portray myself in the way that I do, because I know it's going to reach a lot of people. So yeah, I mean, as far as that, I totally get that, dude. I had a message today. There's this guy named John Truth on TikTok. He's a biblical flat earther, and he very much goes by the Bible. And I made a post on my story, and he commented on it, and he said, "Caleb, come to Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the only way." And I have mad respect for the Christian community. I love the idea of Jesus Christ. I love the message that he portrays. I'm just not a Christian. I just don't follow those beliefs. I just don't believe in that. And I humbly had to say to him, man, hey, dude, this is getting weird. I'm not going to just go to your beliefs because you beg me to. I'm a person that needs demonstrable evidence. I need facts for me to believe. After waking up to flat Earth and the other topic that we've talked about, Hell no. I ain't believing anything without facts ever again. The amount the amount of pure fuckery that has went on in the indoctrination camps we call schools is so evil. I don't believe anything anymore unless I can demonstrate it and it makes sense with the laws of physics and things like that, like in the laws of thermodynamics. It has to make complete sense to me. So man, it's hard. It's really hard to have those conversations, dude.
Yeah.
It's really hard to send that message in a public forum and telling somebody, they're Caleb, man, you're the best, man. Jesus Christ, right? Like Jesus Christ is the way. And I have to tell them, I'm sorry. I do not belong to that religious faith. I wouldn't agree with you on that. So it's hard. We're always going to have contention with each other, We're always not going to agree on every single point. If we did, it'd be really weird, man.
Yeah.
If we all agreed on completely everything. So some people, require different levels of evidence to adopt things into their belief systems. I'm somebody that requires a lot of evidence and facts, and it's just not there for me.
We're getting more every day. That's for sure. More and more coming out, more people doing the digging that needs to be done and exposing it. And it's all coming out, and it's like you said, you were a hardcore atheist and look where you are now. You know what I mean? Like that's a complete 180. So, who's
Have you
to say
guys
where
heard
you'll
of,
be in another 6 months? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm very fluid in the way, if you show me something that's demonstrable and true, I can change my belief systems. If a heliosexual came to me and had demonstrable evidence of the curvature, I'd change my belief system back to the Earth being a globe. But we all know that doesn't exist.
And
not gonna happen.
I would go at it just as hard as
not
I
gonna
go
happen.
at flat Earth too. I would turn my fucking boat around and I would go at it just as hard as I go at flat Earth.
Yeah, that's the thing, man.
No, I would too. I 100% would.
Everything's designed to divide us apart. You even find it in the movement, and I think it would benefit us a lot is to at least be able to find the things that we can come together and see eye to eye on and focus on a lot of those things, and then leave everything else separate. Everyone's entitled to their viewpoint and their freedom of speech. So have your opinion, man, and then whatever we do agree on, that's what can bring us together.
As long as the belief system does. Sorry, what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Basically, how I go at it is, I don't care what religion you believe in. I hope that you adopt a religion. I love that people, believe Jesus Christ was the savior. I love it. I think it's great. It's such a beautiful message, and it does such beautiful things for people. So that's not my battle to fight. I will be honest with my community, and I will say what I am and what I am not. And I am agnostic. I don't know what God is. I don't know if anybody has a perfect representation, or I don't know if anybody has his true word in the form of literature. I don't know. I simply don't know. There's no way to know that, in my opinion. God is not physical. He has not manifested himself to me and shown me that he is. And even if somebody did come down and say they were God right in front of me, I might be tripping. Like I might be hallucinating. Like, so it's really hard, that topic. Like I go at this with such a logical standpoint because I've studied logic that I can't have a belief system. I don't have beliefs. I know things. I know the earth is flat. I won't go there. But
I know it is too, or I never
literally
would have
don't
come
have
out.
belief systems.
Yeah. And
exactly.
that's the thing.
So,
like it's nobody. I don't care what anybody says. They don't know 100% of the truth. So all it is degrees of the truth you know. I don't think any religion has it 100% correct. I'm an ex-atheist. I fucking used to make fun of God. I used to attack people and laugh at people who believed in God. It was like over the top. I used to make upside down crosses on stage thinking it was funny. Not that I gave a shit about Satan, but I just thought it was funny to offend people. So like coming from that.
No, I did the same thing, dude.
Yeah.
And
Dude, so what?
sorry,
what
I cut you off. Keep going.
No. So coming.
I was gonna
hold
ask,
on. So coming from
sorry.
that to coming to the fact that there's 100% a creator, that to me is the only important step, because after that, I mean, I personally believe there's a lot of truth in the Bible. That's my personal belief, but I don't hate somebody who doesn't. I just think that everyone has their percentage of truth. So if everyone knows there's a creator, that's all that fucking matters to me. At all. You can
Exactly.
except Catholics. Fuck the Catholics. But anyway, sorry.
Judaism.
My grandparents
And
were
Judaism.
Catholics, so I don't mean it like that, but yeah. But anyway.
Oh man, that's one of the most important parts of flat Earth is, just to get everyone behind the fact that there is a creator.
Yep.
But anyways, what I was going to ask
It's
you,
the
Ted,
sole reason that I do it.
actually preach, man. You're blessed. You're really good at it. So keep doing it. We really appreciate it, man. And I like sharing your stuff, and we'll keep pushing people your way too.
What were you going to ask, Ted?
Oh,
I'm
but
going to
what
make a
I was
video
ask
right
Ted,
after this podcast.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you gonna mention us, dude? Come on. No, I'm kidding. No, but I will say
Plug.
honestly, with
Plug me, please, plug.
with about shameless
I'll tweet it out,
self-promotion.
bro. You know I'll tweet it out.
No, I know. I'm
yeah,
just
we're
fucking
just
with
kidding.
you.
How long does it take you guys to post something like this?
Oh, we do it on a schedule. Tomorrow we're actually posting our episode with Matt Rife from Rife Technologies. It was fucking mind blowing. So then we do it. We release on every Monday. So this one will come out the following Monday. I know. I wish we were doing it. Someday we'll be streaming live, and someday we'll be doing other things. But for now, we're trying to keep it on a strict schedule of releasing every Monday. So.
Very cool. Yeah, dude, I'll give it a shout out, bud. What are you talking about? I'll mention it.
No, and I will say on this one,
you don't think I want people to hear this conversation? This conversation's been epic, dude. I want everyone to listen to this.
I know.
I want all the heliosexuals in here too.
Oh,
I might send this to all the heliosexuals that hate me on TikTok, so they can clip up all the things that I say, so they can wonder where they can listen to it in context.
Yes, clip me too.
That's how much I don't care.
I'm sure they're gonna cut me saying "fuck Catholics." But, do it up.
Yeah, they will. Oh, they will.
I know who I am. I don't give a shit what people on the internet think that are probably not even the gender they're claiming to be. I don't even give a shit. So there goes YouTube. But anyway, actually, we lost the YouTube a long time ago. Never mind.
Yeah, we lost the YouTube with the vaccine talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Dude, so what percentage of celebrities do you think actually really buy into the Satanism part, and what percentage do you think actually just do it because they're cool, like you guys? Because you obviously you were backing Satan because you thought it was cool, and you thought it was cool to be an atheist and stuff. I mean, we get the picture of a lot of these celebrities are probably put out by their agents to post all this Satanism stuff, but I'd hate to believe that all of them are just in on it.
You naive bastard. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I refuse, man. I refuse.
He's like Nicolas Cage.
I love Limp Bizkit.
Oh, holy shit. Dude, he's 26. He has no clue who Limp Bizkit is. Come on.
Oh, man. What was it like growing up, being younger, and going through school, and all this conspiracy shit was on the internet? Were all the
dude,
high schoolers raging or what?
No. Well, I mean, I've been out of school for a few years now, since 2015.
Yeah.
And 2015, I mean, that's around when Flat Earth came, to the light. So no, when I was going through school, I didn't hear anything. That's what I told you guys. I didn't even know that the flat earthers exist. I didn't know that people believed that the earth was flat. I didn't know people were publicly denying evolution. I didn't know people were denying the Big Bang. I was taught in school that it was a demonstrable fact. And if you ignore it, you're a moron. If you discredit it, you're an idiot. It's been proven through redshift and all these other, astronomical observations, all these things, these skeletal bones, the fossil remains. It's all been proven. So don't even think about questioning it. That's how they're teaching this next generation. And hence why I was so mad when I woke up. I came out just also smiling. I liked pissing people off. So it was funny that I could actually confidently say I was a flat earther. But I deep down, I was really hurt, dude. I was really hurt that I was misled and I was deceived to that level. It really bothered me. Hence why I will do everything I can to not allow that deception to protrude into the next generation. I will do everything I can to get on those kids' For You pages so that they can ask the hard questions to their teachers. And then maybe I can wake up their teachers. and then maybe they'll stop teaching people this shit, and they'll quit their jobs, and maybe we can crumble the entire school system, the entire public education system through the internet. That is my ultimate goal.
Hell yeah.
That's an admirable goal. I love it. That's what we have to do.
Very admirable, man.
Everyone's being
that
brainwashed.
shows how far the indoctrination, how deep the roots go. Because I mean, you're in Utah, and you'd think that they would be teaching
Nevada
some
now.
sort of Well, did you grow up in Utah though?
Yeah, I did.
Was
Yep,
that,
I graduated,
in
went through all my
and
school
they're
in
still,
Utah.
pushing the evolution
Dude,
agenda.
it's
so hard, even in Utah.
Yeah,
you know?
they have seminary. There's these buildings called seminary buildings that are basically churches right next to all the high schools, where people can go from one class where they're being taught evolution, and then they can have their seminary class right after where they're being taught biblical truth. It is the paradigm is so whack. It's so crazy. Hence why everybody's so messed up, dude. Like, everybody is so messed up from the amount of gaslighting that we're getting from science and physics right now. And then they're also going to church and, oh yeah, praise God, God created us, woohoo. But they don't actually believe that because they're going to school and being taught that we evolved from monkeys. So, dude, it's really weird. Like, when I woke up to that and I realized that, because I didn't even think about that. Like, going through my entire, like I said, I really had my head in the sand going through high school.
Yeah.
I was just going through the motions, man. I was smoking a lot of weed. I was just chilling, dude. I was just wanting to hang out with my buddies and hang out with people I liked. I just didn't really care. I thought that we died and nothing happened, so nothing really mattered to me. And when I realized the earth was flat, and then I looked at the public education system, I said, oh my gosh, dude, how are people, like, I went and asked my mom. I went and asked my mom, what do you think of the Big Bang, Mom? And because I realized, like, okay, so she believes that God created the earth in 6 days, so she doesn't believe in the Big Bang, right? And I went to my dad, and Dad, you don't believe in the Big Bang. Like, you don't think we evolved from monkeys, right? And they did. And that's when I had this oh shit moment. Like, oh my gosh, bro, this is so bad. This is so deep. People are so illogical, even my own parents. This needs to be stomped out. Like, I have to expose this. Like, nobody's doing, like, I really looked at the flat earth community at the time that I woke up. And I don't want to say everyone sucked at it, but everyone that I could, I had in my perception sucked. Like, I didn't have, I mean, I love David. David's a great communicator, but he's not as good as somebody like Austin. Like, I wanted better, you know? David's really good at what he does. He's really good at presenting, but he's not, I love you, David. If you hear this, I'm sorry. I love you, but he's not the best debater. Hence why I don't think he does it very often.
Also. So hopefully he'll listen. We had him on before too. So yeah, but everybody has their own strengths.
I felt like
if you, I will say, if you've never looked into flat Earth and you listen to Austin, you might be overwhelmed. So you definitely need an entry level, and Dave is excellent at that. Like, I'm still overwhelmed by Austin sometimes.
Yes.
And he'll talk to anybody, which is awesome. Like, Dave's like, I don't care if you have an audience of 10 people. I'll go on there and give him
we
my
had him
spiel.
on before our 10th episode or something like that. He's awesome. He'll talk to anybody. So it was.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I would compare. I think that we're kind of in the same echelon as Dave, because we're really good at getting people on to the flat Earth and getting them to start asking questions. And then when they have the really hard questions, we can pass them on to people like you or Witsit or Ted, that have the answers that we might not be able to answer for them. And I think that's really cool, and we all play our own part.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm trying to get across. You guys put that across beautifully. I think we all have our own strengths and our own weaknesses. Dave he onboarded me to this, so of course,
exactly.
Yeah, so it's no
I owe everything
to Dave
to Dave
at all. Exactly, man.
Oh yeah, not at all.
He plays
not
his
at
part
all.
in the movement.
But I did. Yeah, but very quickly learning about it, there's some people that are going to progress at a pace that is much more rapid than others, and I feel like I did. So I immediately started asking the really, really hard questions, and I got Dave's number, and he couldn't answer them, just to be frank. So I realized, oh my gosh, like, we need somebody that will really deep dive into this literature, into this physics, into all of these claims, the movements of the star. Like, we need somebody that is really, really willing to, like, put a lot of time into reading and a lot of time into fully understanding these topics. And we also, but it can't just be anybody. It has to be somebody that can recall these things under pressure specifically in a debate setting. Because You guys know in a debate, some stuff just goes over your head. It gets heated. You could have made way better points than you did before, and you always progress in that aspect. But I didn't have that when I was first getting into it. That's why I started making the content. And I often challenge myself. If I feel like something induces anxiety into me or bothers me, I will keep doing it. I will force that out of me. I do not like that. I will make myself comfortable. Like ice baths is a good analogy for this. Like if you've never taken an ice bath or done a cold shower, it's really hard to start out with. It's really uncomfortable. But if you force yourself to do it, it'll eventually become normal. So that's the type of person I am. I challenge myself. When I feel like I don't understand something better than somebody else, not that I want to like have this God complex and be smarter than them, but over a Glober, yes. If a Glober says something that I don't understand and it bothers me that I didn't understand it, you better believe I'm going to spend the next 2 days studying it to make sure that the next time that question comes up, I can stomp it out with logic. So I'm that dude. And not all the community is like that. Not all people like logically view the world like that and deciphering reality from truth. But I just did. And it bothered me that we didn't have that person up until I found Witsit. And so I was already on my path and he just fueled it way crazier. Now I want a bunch of us like that, That's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, so do we.
You hear that, Globies? Calm down and take a cold shower.
Yeah.
Take an ice bath. Give it a rest.
The only time they take a cold shower
It's good for you.
is when their mom turns off the fucking hot water to the basement. Let's be honest. Dude, none of them are genuine. Yeah. None of them. And the ones who are don't talk the way they talk. And our original plan when we came on Twitter was to be nice to people. And then day one, the fucking attack started. So I was like, all right, we can do this. Let's do this. And then we gave it right back, and they can't fucking handle it. They've reported us. My account has been suspended multiple times. Bill's account has been suspended. They fucking attack on anything they can. They're ridiculous, and it's kind of pathetic. I'm just saying. I've never reported anyone. I've never fucking went. I mean, I went to a few people's, like Elon's posts and talk shit. But, like I don't seek them out. If it comes across and it's a joke, I'll talk shit. But they spend their entire day in our comments, like hours on.
Well,
oh, dude,
I think that these guys, it's not that, our biggest hiccup isn't the logic of flat Earth. It's that, it's getting people to let go of the realization of the implications of what would happen if this were actually true. I think that's the hardest thing for these people to let go of, is that their life as they know it, once this is acknowledged by the masses, is going to change immensely. And they don't realize, maybe we're going to have to go through some shitty times for a little while, but it's better for the future of humanity than to go on with this charade anymore, man. And you know what? You're just going to have to give up your comfy little life and move on and deal with this for, the better of everyone.
People don't think long term anymore.
Yeah,
though,
I think
at all. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, like simple quotes from physicists and astronomers of our past thoroughly demonstrate this. The axis of evil demonstrates this. The Copernican principle demonstrates this. If you guys don't mind, I'd like to read a quote from Edwin Hubble that completely demonstrates what you were saying, Rufus. He says, such a condition, talking about the Earth being geocentric and more finite and more close and more dense. That's what he's talking about in relation to talking about cosmology. And he says, such a condition would imply that we occupy a unique position in the universe, analogous in a sense to the ancient conception of a central Earth. The hypothesis cannot be disproved, but it is unwelcome and would be accepted only as a last resort in order to save the phenomenon. Therefore, we disregard this possibility and consider the alternative, namely a distribution which thins out with distance. The unwelcome supposition of a favored location must be avoided at all costs, because they're avoiding this because it definitively suggests fine-tuning, which directly suggests God's existence. These people hate God. These people are atheists. These people have a God complex. These people don't want to be special. These people don't want to have these people don't want to realize that they have moral ramifications for the things that they do.
Mhm.
And in my humble opinion, you will have to answer for it when you die. They hate that idea, hence why it's a last resort to assume that the Earth's the center of the universe, but all observations suggest it.
Yeah, dude, that's a great quote. Yeah, I think that a lot of these guys also, I didn't even think about that when I was saying the other part, but I think they don't want to come to terms with the fact that they're going to have to pay up for the things that they've done in the past too, or at least acknowledge them.
That's it.
Yeah,
It's a
That's
scary
the whole
thing,
bro. That's the whole fight.
And some of these guys on here that
I
were
mean-
battling and stuff, they put their whole livelihood into this lie. Their money,
Mhm.
their time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like their whole life centered around it. Their expensive telescope toys, their posters,
Their college degrees.
all that stuff. Their Star Wars. God forbid you take their Star Wars away from them, you know? And it's like it just crumbles, and they're mad, they're pissed, they're lashing out, they're projecting like crazy. And it's like you said, Caleb, you just got to go at them with everything you got. And then when they hit you with something that you may not have the answer to, take it in stride, look it up, because you already know going into it that it's crap. You just got to figure out the the parts of the crap and then give it right back to them, and then go from there. And yeah, it's a tragic thing, but it's also this crazy paradox too, right? Because we need them. We need these people to continue the conversation. Like, and they are, I'll give them that. They are relentless, and they just don't give up, so there's never short.
Yes. I think we need to give a good shout out to the Globies and thank them for, giving us the ability to do this, because without them, we wouldn't even be here.
While we're on the podcast, but we'll see you at Twitter and we'll smack you down again a little bit. But
and thank their mothers.
But I wish we didn't.
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna make a smart ass.
The problem is, I wish we didn't have to do this, though. The problem is, I wish we didn't have to do this. I wish I could spend more time with my family. I wish that I could spend more time with my girlfriend. I wish I could, spend more time instilling confidence in my children and my future children. Like there's better things for me to be doing, but this is very important. I wish that, I kind of wish that the Globers didn't exist, because then we would all know the Earth is flat. We would all know that God exists. And what would a world be where we all knew that?
Oh, way better. And I would happily.
Have you ever seen those Tartarian buildings?
Yeah.
Might have something to do with it.
Do you? Yeah. Where do you stand with the mud floods?
Oh man, people get triggered when I talk about this. I'm like 50. Like everything else that I say, right? So in my opinion, I'm like 50 in, 50 out. I don't believe there's a lot of like. Do you know that guy on TikTok? What's that guy? He's the dude he's really big on Tartaria. He has like 2 million followers. I can't remember his name. He's like English. He's from another country.
What, the Irwanon?
The guy. Yeah, no, not Irwanon. He actually flipped. If you didn't know, he actually flipped on Tartaria. He now runs a YouTube channel debunking Tartaria.
What?
Yeah.
Really? I did not know that.
I did hear about that at one point.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he flipped,
That's
and very demonstrably. He has very good evidence for why he flipped, and
How does he
flip too,
explain all
because
those
I listened.
like underground buildings? Have you heard
Underground,
him explain that? Like even in where I'm from, there's a lot of buildings that are like way deep underground.
We'll have to go check them out. I gotta go check that out.
Gotta check it out.
I mean, I'd have to see it with specificity. Yeah, I'd have to see it with like specificity, case by case. But there is plans and blueprints for how they created stuff underground. Yes, he does go over that a bit. But I don't consume his content very much. Tartaria isn't really my biggest strong point. I don't really care for Tartaria. I more care for Flat Earth because it proves God. Like Tartaria, we all know the history's wrong, so I don't really care about that.
Right.
Other than the other specific topics that we've talked about.
Yeah, got you.
So
yeah, but I'm like 50 in, 50 out.
Yeah. I mean,
specifically because of Ewarnon and his.
And what about like free energy and those kind of things? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's demonstrable. We have 100 volts per meter, 100 volts per meter. Yeah, I think that's right. 100 volts per meter equipotential increase to the positive side in the atmosphere. So if you go higher, you're going to be able to harness that. It gets really strong up there, hence lightning. So yeah, free energy is demonstrable. Yeah, no, that's why I say I'm 50-50 on it. A lot of the buildings that people proclaim to be Tartaria have blueprints and have photographic evidence for how they were built by normal people. So that's what bothers me about the community.
I just believe everything they've taught us is a lie. So there's some truth to it. There's just like everything. When people jump in stuff, they go full force, and we need that. We just have to use our discernment to see where the line of truth really is, because they give a lot of good information, and you just got to look at it and say, well, this makes sense, but this is a little out there.
Being open to it is awesome, and it's just like you said, flat Earth unlocks all of it, right? So, or at least it unlocks your potential to be able to sit there and take it in and make a decision for yourself, right? Because before that, you're just dead set like, well, that's just crap because it says right here in the history books and blah blah blah, and you're just so indoctrinated, you're not even open to it, right? But now that, like you said, once you can come to terms with the biggest lie ever told, then all of the compartments of it kind of just, we can work them out later. And that is a good point.
That being said, you got to be careful, though. You got to be careful because, flat Earth is such a crazy idea that opens up your mind, but then it'll open up your possibility for anything, man. So you, just like Kaleb has been saying, you truly got to look at the evidence of what things that we can actually prove, because there's, especially with the AI and everything, everything could be bullshit.
Yeah, you're right.
You're not talking about concave Earth, are you, Rufus?
Well, I'll tell you what, you're not going to convert anyone with concave Earth, bro. If it's true or not, they're going to look at you like you were one crazy motherfucker.
Yes. Yes,
so wait, it's not hollow?
Water doesn't bend up or down.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I know. It's hard.
Well, if you compress a photo enough, it does. I've seen that. That was one's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've seen
with
some
the whole
compressing photos.
What was that?
That's crazy. Those astrophotographers that claim that they're taking actual photos, and then you push them on it. Have you ever debated like an astrophotographer about what they do? I think that'd be cool to kind of listen on.
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
There's this
they just claim they're photos, bro, and they're not.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are. I mean, like even with things like the James Webb Telescope or the Hubble Telescope. If you don't know, they actually have a plane called Sophia, where they have the same dimension telescopes on that plane, where they fly it into high altitudes and take pictures. So some of the pictures are real and some of them are not. I mean, like if you observe, you can see quasars. You can see Saturn has rings on it. I have an 8-inch, Dobsonian telescope. So a lot of the stuff that they are showing is actually real. It's just not. It's not coming from stuff that's floating out in space at the Lagrange point. You know what I'm saying? So they admittedly have this plane called Sophia, where they have the same dimension telescopes as described on as the James Webb or the Hubble telescope. They literally have this whole system where they take all the seats out of a commercial plane and they put in these rails and they're able to wheel some back to the back, and they're able to wheel some of them to the front of the plane and open the door while they're flying and take photographic evidence of the stars and stuff like that. So some of it is real, but I mean, does it prove the Earth's a ball? No.
That's cool to know, man.
Not only do the dimensions line up with the Hubble and Sophia, but there's multiple pictures that the timestamps match up with Sophia and Hubble. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just, come on, you people. Dimensions the same.
Yeah, it
shows the same photos. It's ridiculous.
It's really cool that they've done that they've like figured out like, okay, let's go into higher parts of the atmosphere where there's less opaqueness and it's it's a gradient. Obviously they go up there's less air, there's less things in the way between the lens and the actual stars, and they can get truly beautiful pictures. It's just a matter of like, it just sucks that they mislabel it and say, oh, this is a telescope that we've got floating in a vacuum that can turn, and we can just press a button and aim it towards this other galaxy, millions and billions. That's just bullshit. It's just a lie.
And anybody who doesn't know, who's listening, what the Lagrange point is, where the fucking Hubble is supposedly parked, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's in this perfect part where the Earth's gravity and the sun's gravity is pulling at it, and it just sits there.
Yep.
And it just follows us perfectly.
Yep.
And it takes perfectly still pictures.
So stupid.
Even though any picture you take on Earth, if it's time lapse or whatever, and you bump it or anything, it fucking blurs anything. But they're taking these magical pictures with something that's just interlocked in this fucking Lagrange point. Which Lagrange? What the fuck is that? Like they just make shit up, man. It's so ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd.
This is a cool fantasy story.
I know. I mean, it's for children.
It's a nice.
And how does that even work, anyways? You know, I thought that they can't see the stars in space, anyways.
I know. Well, something I wanted to ask you, because we talk about this back and forth, is like, so I'm sure you've seen the high altitude balloons that go up at night, and once they get so high, like you can't see the stars anymore. So what do you think that is? I mean, I have my beliefs on it. I'm just curious what yours are.
Oh, dude, I don't know, bro. It freaks me out, dude. Like, I don't know. That's a really good question, bro. I've never been asked that question. There's not a lot of questions I've never been asked before.
Gotcha.
Yeah, dude, it's almost as if you need like the lens of the atmosphere to be able to translate those stars down.
I think it gives credence to the fact,
dude, I don't know,
that they're put here for us, and you're only supposed to see them down here. And I don't know the mechanism for how they're projected in here. Just like I don't know if you agree with this. I don't care if you agree with this. We can agree on different shit. But I think the sun we see is projected in here. I don't think it's a physical thing in our... I think that it is a physical thing, but what we see is a projection. That's why you see it from different angles. It looks in different places. Like when you drive hundreds of miles where it should look in a different place and it doesn't, it's like, to me, that's what I think it is. Can't prove it. That's just what I think.
Yeah.
But
then you walk down the block. You walk down the block like half a block, and the moon looks like it's in a completely different area too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would. I think that's a really good postulation. I mean, I really like the fact that you admit that we can't prove that. You know, it is a belief system, but it's a good theory, honestly, because if it is a projection, and wherever the projector is could easily explain the nodes that are going in front of the sun. So, I mean, I would never publicly say that in like a debate setting or anything, but I definitely don't think that's a dumb idea for sure.
Oh,
so
yeah,
the sky and the ether.
Yeah, all I can prove is that there's zero curve and that it's spherical. That's what we can prove from down here. Anything looking up, we're speculating, which I love speculating. I love talking about shit. But we obviously can't prove what any of that is. We can prove what it's not. We can prove that they're not all burning balls of gas at trillions of miles different apart, but they just, you know, they look the same size, basically. And you can zoom in on them, but yet you can't zoom in on something on Earth that's 100 miles away. So how the hell are you zooming in and enlarging something trillions of miles away? None of that makes sense. And that's me.
Just
like,
don't know
like
about scale, Ted.
Yeah,
you just don't understand scale.
You don't know how to zoom. You don't know how to use focus on your P1000. All right, you're fucking stupid and you're a flurfer. Like, it's just...
You're just a dumb flurf, Ted.
Yes, I know.
Do you think that phenomenon works the same for all those satellites?
Oh,
Is that why we don't see them? Or
what do you mean?
Don't fucking get me started.
Oh, you're joking. Yeah, you're joking.
That's what we do here, man. That's what we do. Like, I love the ones who will argue that satellites are in space, and in the same argument they talk about how I know they're in space because I've seen them. Like, you dumb fucking bastard.
And they send you like a CGI image.
It does. It's great.
I know, dude.
Yeah, show me one picture of a satellite floating around.
See, they're real, and it's like a CGI. It's like, dude, oh my god, what am I arguing against here?
I know.
What is the point if you don't even know that CGI?
I know.
But there were 3 people that saw
lately.
It's like, oh yeah, that's fake as fuck.
I took that picture.
Yeah, I love that one. Literally globe earth honesty, dude. It's been really cool, like
through talking to people like Alan and stuff like that, it's been making me really curious about the ether. Is one specific thing that I've been really wanting to understand better. And he's been sending me the work of people like Dayton Miller, Carl Wang, and these different people that have produced apparatuses that can measure the motion of the ether and measure the one-way propagation. Well, not the one-way, the preferred direction of light. That it has a preferred direction and it moves faster in one direction than in another. And I recently just read an entire PDF on Dayton Miller's 200,000 Michelson-Morley type experiments. This dude found out about Michelson-Morley and did 200,000 observations over 30 years. Wow. Literally sat at an interferometry table, turned it, took it to higher altitudes, lower altitudes, and always got a positive result in the preferred direction of the speed of light through fringe shifts, just like Michelson-Morley. These people want to paint Michelson-Morley as a null result, but it wasn't. It was not a null result. There was a difference in the fringe shift. It was just not the fringe shift that they were seeking to prove that the Earth is revolving around the sun. So they called it a null result or a negative result. No interferometry equipment that is set up properly that splits the beam of light from one laser. If it splits the beam of a laser from one laser, meaning we know that the propagation rate is the same because it's coming from the same source, and it goes around the apparatus and due to the Sagnac effect causes a fringe shift, that definitively proves that light has a preferred direction. If one part of that beam reaches the photographic receptor before the other. This dude did 200,000 observations, and nobody acknowledges him.
That's
no one.
insane.
Nobody knows about
If
Dayton
you
Miller, dude.
Send me whatever you have on him, and I'll post it to whatever I can do to get that shit out. I don't know what effect it'll have, but I'm happy to help get it out.
Yeah, I challenge you guys to all. If you are you guys in my Telegram group? I mean, I'm not expecting you guys to be, but if you guys are in my Telegram group, this is where I share all of this literature. So I'm going to share it to you right now, Ted. I made a tweet today basically giving an analysis of the entire thing. So I read the entire paper a little bit last night and finished it this morning. And I wrote that, what I just sent to you. And I guess I'll read it to the audience just so they can have some context. I'll read the full tweet and also the actual quote that I made from Dayton Miller himself. It says, Dayton Miller did over 200,000 Michelson-Morley type interferometry experiments trying to prove the existence of the ether wind. He not only accomplished what he set out to do, he did so with such precision that the mainstream sources of indoctrination like Einstein had to assume the 200,000 observations were based on a fundamental error, without giving any specificity to what the error was. That's literally what they did. They literally said, oh, it must be that the temperatures are changing, causing the light to propagate at different rates. That doesn't add up with special relativity, morons. Anyway,
of course they blame global warming.
And then Einstein said himself, this is a quote from Einstein, talking about Miller's experiments. He said, I believe that I have really found the relationship between gravitation and electricity, assuming that the Miller experiments are based on a fundamental error. Otherwise, the whole relativity theory collapses like a house of cards. And then I finished the talk saying, Miller not only proved the ether exists, he proved it's related to the motion of the stars. And so his observations, the fringe shifts, directly lined up with sidereal time, which sidereal time is the motion of the fixed stars. Basically, the way that I'm interpreting this dude literally proved the Machian principle through interferometry equipment, through lasers, and proved that the ether exists and that light has a preferred direction. And then this is what Dayton Miller said about the 200,000 observations. He said, a very striking conspiracy of their principal characteristics. For the azimuth and magnitude, as though they are related to a common cause, the observed effect is dependent upon sidereal time and is independent of diurnal and seasonal changes of temperature and other terrestrial causes. And it is a cosmical phenomenon. Literally him talking about, because, dude, he accounted for everything. I'll send you, if you guys are in my Telegram group, I did post the entire PDF where this guy named I can't remember his name. He basically went over all of it, and he did his own publication and gave his citations and basically gave what he thought about the experiments. And I think it's very profound. And this guy literally did way more than Michelson-Morley. Yeah. And Michelson-Morley is the most famous failed experiments of all time. No, Michelson-Morley was the most famous successful experiments of all time, proving that light has a preferred direction and proving the ether exists. And what did they do? They turned around and said it did the exact opposite.
Yeah.
These people are horrible people, bro.
I know when they say it did the opposite, you look into it and you're like, how did they even come to that? Like they're just being completely dishonest. That's all it is. It's just
They just said nuh-uh.
Yeah,
that's all they did.
Exactly. Well, no, it was a failure because it didn't get what they expected to get. Yeah, no shit, it didn't, because they were expecting a fucking spinning ball. That's what they thought. But
Sure, it disproved a static ether, but it didn't disprove a dynamic ether. That's the easiest thing to say to those people when they bring up that it disproved the ether. No, it disproved one model of the ether. If you assume that the ether is doing a vortex around the Earth, it could similarly cause the fringe shift that was caused. Like, it's so simple to disprove these people. They're so dumb, dude.
Oh, come on, guys. We all know that sidereal time is why the reason why day and night don't flip over 6 months' time.
yeah, exactly. It's so ridiculous. I posted some shit about that the other day, and that's all the comments say. So, like, oh, thank you for telling me you didn't watch the fucking video, because it directly addresses that, and you look stupid now. I mean, dumber than you would look anyway, because you were already going to look stupid, but... So, something that I know you agree with, Kaleb, that we've never talked about on this show that I would love to dip into a little bit is dinosaurs. Why don't you tell us how you feel about giant reptiles that were taken out by
Dude, you want to get into everything.
I do.
Dude, don't hit on this, man.
This podcast.
Me and my kids knew all the dinosaur names.
Yeah.
Parasaurolophus.
I know all
Dinosaurs.
I know people who
Dinosaurs
know
never
all the
existed.
characters of fucking Star Wars too. It doesn't make it real, dude.
I'm working on it. Okay,
They're real, man.
I'm getting over it.
Oh, it's a problem for you, Death? That's sad.
C-3PO always had the silver leg, man. I'm a fan.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you want me to straightforward go at dinosaurs, dinosaurs provably never walked the earth. There's no absolute evidence to suggest that there were these big animals. I mean, how'd they have sex? How did they even procreate when you look at them? It literally fundamentally doesn't make sense. Not only that, the mathematical models of how much they would weigh and their joints, the weight capacity doesn't make sense. People have done it. Engineers have looked at it. They said they wouldn't even be able to hold themselves up because of the sheer amount of weight that they have. I mean, you can look at the bone wars of the 1850s and where the word dinosaur came about. It came about in like 1850s from the Royal Society, and they were trying to convince people that dinosaurs were running around. I think that it is a huge deception to hide the fact that giant humans lived here. And also, I think that there were giant animals because of the giant trees. The higher oxygen content of the atmosphere allowed things to get a lot bigger, in my opinion. So that's like,
I believe that's
part
of
crazy photos.
I think that's part of why they're trying to
have you guys
do
seen
this
the
shit about keeping the O2 levels down and got to keep the nitrogen levels down, because it's proven if anyone's ever grown anything in a greenhouse, they literally sell things that put nitrogen in the atmosphere plane in there because plants need it. It makes them grow bigger. It makes them grow bigger. So this bullshit about trying to control it is to try to stop us from going back to that, in my opinion, because the Earth's on a big cycle.
Yeah,
well, that's why we've got.
Have you guys seen the pictures of like?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
What?
Have you guys seen the pictures of the crocodile? Like, there's this huge crocodile. Like this freaking part of a mountain collapsed and it fell down. And there was this rock. It's obviously not a rock. It's a fossil, or it's like a representation of the animal. There's this huge, like there was a guy standing next to it, and he is literally like an ant next to this. You've seen that picture? Yes. There's a picture of a crocodile in the side of a mountain that looks like it got collapsed on. Like, I think that these bones that they're digging up and saying are dinosaurs were those bigger animals, and those animals are still here today. They just became a lot smaller because of the oxygen content decreasing. So, yeah, dinosaurs didn't exist, bro.
I agree.
Yeah, they needed to find a way to cover it up. I mean, have you ever seen like a rabbit skeleton? It kind of looks like a T-Rex, bro. You know, you could slap some new teeth on that thing, and
some next level shit.
Giant rabbit, and we've all seen like the giant snake and everything. You know, there's something there.
That's a whole
For
other
sure.
rabbit hole. That's a whole other rabbit hole.
Oh
dude.
yeah.
And the fact that the museums don't display any real bones. They literally admit to getting them and having them made with chicken bones and plastic and mesh and shit. They literally aren't real, the bones that you're looking at.
Yeah.
And only the paleontologists can look at the real bones.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Oh yeah, don't dare try and get access to the real bones.
You can't. No one.
It'd
not
probably be
even all
easier to
the
get to Antarctica,
paleontologists.
bro. To be honest.
You can't.
Did you guys see the guy that tried to? He went to museums and he tried to. Have you guys seen that video?
No.
Fuck, that's awesome.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Oh, dude, he walked up to some paleontologists and was like, "Let me see the bones, dude. Show me the real dinosaur bones in the back. Like, let's go see them. Let's do some carbon dating testing on them. Like, let's see what's up." And dude, they were furious. Dude, they did not react well. Similar to any astronaut that you walk up to and deny the moon landing, they lost their shit, bro. They do not want people carbon testing those bones, carbon dating testing.
Yeah.
They're gonna come back way earlier than millions of years. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
You kids want to go to the museum? No, I'm kidding.
There aren't Bill and
Let's all
I.
meet up. It'd be a good video.
Bill and I live in Florida, so we're thinking about a trip to Cape Canaveral in the future.
Mhm.
After
get things
we
popping
do
a
some
little
other
bit.
Oh,
stuff,
that'd be epic.
after we do some other stuff where it'll make it
Austin's
easier
down there
to
with you guys.
record.
Did you know that?
Oh, there's so many fucking people in
Did
Florida.
you guys
It's-
know Austin lives down there in Florida?
Yeah, he
No,
just got here,
I-
right? Yeah, he just came down, I think, recently, right?
Yeah.
a lot of people are.
Yeah, I bet
congregating to
Witsit would
Florida.
pull up
It's
with you
weird.
guys.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
I want to come to Florida.
Yeah, Florida's awesome. I mean, it was 80 something degrees today, 86 or something like that. But I mean, it's beautiful.
Let's do it, man. We've been
It's
meaning
eclectic.
to have some sort of reunion. Do you know that none of us have actually met, or I've
Well-
never met Bill and Ted?
Yeah, none.
Bill and I know each other.
Yeah,
We've been
we
friends
have
for
Ted and Bill
25
have-
years. Bill and I have
Okay.
been friends for 25
Okay,
years.
good.
But Rufus and Death, we met on Twitter and we liked shit they were doing, so we invited them in. That's how that happened.
Been pretty
Yes,
Yeah,
cool.
sir.
I need to give you guys a hug.
Would love to.
No homo.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
homo.
It's
Yeah.
either Cape Canaveral or Lake Pontchartrain. I think that's a good meeting place.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I love when they post that one. They don't get
Mhm.
that if there's one picture disproving that fucking picture, your picture means nothing.
And
If
it's
it-
the only place
did
on
you hear
Earth
the-
that curves.
Dude.
It's amazing.
I know.
Tell me you guys listened to FTFE when I asked him that, bro. That's why I asked him. Is the horizon apparent or
Oh,
geometric?
yes.
Oh,
Dude, that's
my
the worst
gosh,
question. That's the most damning question you can ask.
I
It's the
know.
best question you can ask these Globers.
Oh,
And
that
they
was
literally
great.
can't. They cannot admit reality or it destroys their model. Literally. That's why he went around the wizardry that he did to not answer that question. Just saying, oh, it's a physical place, but the light bends around the atmosphere because it's the atmosphere. Like, he just went such a roundabout way
Yeah.
of not answering it directly. And that's why. I will ask him
Yeah,
that again.
dude.
It's
I
so
wi- I
beautiful to
wish
watch him.
I wish you would
It
just
is
cut him
beautiful.
off even faster and be like, dude, obviously you're not going to answer this fucking question.
know.
So let's just move on, dude, because I don't want to see you squirm
But-
around and circle around with bullshit for the next half an hour, and no one else wants to either, dude. It's a
It's
waste
so
of all
funny,
of
though.
our time.
It's just like,
Waste of all of our time.
did you see that one quote? He was wasting my time, but I was allowing him to make him look stupid.
Yeah.
There's a quote from.
Yes.
Did you guys see that quote where it says, "You never interrupt your enemy while they're making a mistake"?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
need
it's
to
like
learn
Sun
that.
Tzu, right?
I need to learn
Yeah,
that.
that's
for
why I was
sure.
doing that.
Yeah, these guys
Yeah.
debunk themselves.
Dude, that's
you know?
why I was
It's
doing
not
that. It's that
very
quote.
entertaining, though.
You never interrupt them when they're making a fool out of themselves. So I let him repeat that same shit over and over because of how stupid he looked. And because people like you guys and people that are new to the conversation are going to look at that and say, oh, whoa, why isn't this guy just answering the question directly if it's apparent? Or why is he going around this roundabout way of ranting? And trust me, Rufus, I wanted to cut him off every time, bro. I wanted to cut him off every time he spoke. But if we do, that will look bad on us. It will look bad, and people will see me as impatient, and they already did. Even with, dude, do you guys think I was patient during that debate for the most part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he kept cutting you off. he kept cutting you off a lot, and you
Exactly.
were letting him talk and letting him make a fool of himself. I think you did way better than I have the self-control to do. I'm getting there, but fuck, man.
He was extremely defensive.
You'll get there,
kept
bro.
saying-
It's easy.
he kept saying he'd already answered that and this and that when we clearly didn't. Like,
No.
it was just,
I know.
it was,
Yep.
it was a little rough to watch.
It was.
At
Yes,
times,
dude,
like,
it was
Oh,
real.
yeah. Yeah.
if I didn't know
was
how much of a,
spiraling.
Yeah.
how much of an asshole, if I didn't already know that, how much of an asshole this dude was, because I've had confrontation with him myself, that I would have actually felt bad, but I just didn't feel bad. I was dying. I was laughing. I was rolling over. I was loving it, every minute of it. So I'm not going to lie.
I know, it's quality entertainment.
Yeah, if I would have acted like him, and if I would have been degenerate like him and acted like him and cutting him off and not letting him get his full point out, they could have used that as ammo against us. Hence why I didn't interrupt, bro. Is the horizon geometrical or is it apparent? And then I shut up and I let him do his spiel for 3 minutes at a time, saying nonsense, garbage shit that's gonna make him look stupid. And a lot of that conversation probably woke up a lot of people, bro. It's probably being shared around like crazy. It already has over 2,000 comments on it. It's spreading like wildfire right now. People are really liking that conversation. And then there's the small fringe group of flat earthers that still think I was too mean. I can't believe people come out of that conversation that I had with him and think that I'm just an arrogant prick. They obviously have no context of who FTFE is. They've never watched a live stream of his. They don't understand the topic. It's sad, honestly. It's sad that people thought that I was rude during that conversation because I made it I was definitely condescending in my nature and in my tone. Of course I was. I'm talking to the biggest moron, the biggest
I was gonna say,
absolute dipshit in the entire world.
Man. Own it, man. I could be an arrogant prick sometimes too. Fucking, they deserve it. They fucking deserve it the way they come at us, man. Fucking
90%
do
of their whole
not feel
fan
bad
arrogance.
for how you come at them because they're fucking
Exactly.
they're cocksuckers.
Well, dude,
I'm just gonna say it.
when
I wanted to.
You know what? When their evidence is like a picture of a building where like 40 feet of the building is allegedly
It's so
blocked by the curve of the earth, but there's no tilt on the building, and it's very evident that the building is still right there at the horizon. So you're telling me that the horizon didn't bend at all, and then right when it got there, it bent 30 feet. And the building didn't tilt at all. Like, dude, it makes no sense.
And when you go on a different day, you can see
it's
more
so
of
stupid.
it.
Yes.
Exactly.
So it's hard not
It's
to
so
get
stupid, bro.
frustrated and just be like, dude, are you retarded? For real, though.
Dude,
They're convicts, dude.
We're both looking at the same picture, and, the way that you're deciphering it, the logic just makes no sense.
Yeah, that's why I've been so ruthless on X right now. Like, I will give them all the energy. This is why McToon is shut up, bro. Because he knows I will come at his throat. He knows I will jump straight down his throat and destroy him. That's why he's not tweeting at me anymore. I will take the time away from my family and my business to sit there and type out the truth every time I'm added. I do not care. I have the time. I have the energy. And I will expel it to debunk these fools. I will literally spend the rest of my life bullying these people off the internet with truth. It's so annoying to me. And, I love how some people come at this. Like, I have nothing but respect for Austin. And he often says, hey, we got to come at this from a Christ-like standpoint. We've got to be nice. We've got to be patient. We've got to, we've got to be understanding. These people are indoctrinated. Me? I'm not that dude, bro. I'm not going to tell people, come at these people nice. I'm going to come at this I want to trigger these people. I want to trigger them to the point where I want to force it into their subconscious that they know they're wrong. I want to force it in there so that they knowingly know they're lying every time that they make a statement, and they have to lie through their teeth and squirm around like FTFE did on the debate. I will instill that in this community of globe earthers, and I'll do it myself if nobody else is willing to.
No, we're all right there with you. At least the people in this room.
I'm halfway there, dude. I will say.
Oh yeah.
My cojones may not be as big as yours, but I'm getting there. Again,
I mean,
remember, I threatened to stab somebody, dude. All right.
Yeah, he's got a street cred.
That's awesome, bro. I love that.
Yeah,
That's
but
freaking hilarious, dude.
he's also been suspended 3 times. We had to kind of do like an intervention a little bit. It was like, all right, listen, dude, it's great. It's great. Like, but you may not get another chance.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the fact that he has like he fought for it too. Every time, man, he sent them letters. He fought, like he did all the work that a lot of people don't do, and they just start another account and go again. You know what I mean?
I know, and I got
Like,
called
he
a
put-
shill for that
Yeah.
too. Sorry, not to
I
cut you
know.
off, but a few people called like, "How'd you get your fucking account back?
Yeah.
That's weird. You must be a shill." Like, dude, I fucking fought for it because it means something to me, and I don't mean the followers do. I mean the fact that when Bill and I decided to start Twitter accounts, we said, dude, if we ever reach 1,000 followers, I will feel like I at least did my part to spread the word about something I
Yeah.
truly believe.
verbatim.
And that was our conversation. That's why we started Twitter, to reach 1,000 people. And now collectively, between the
Yeah.
4 of us, we're at over 100,000. So, fucking, it's awesome. So for anybody to say that it's about anything else, they're just lying, and I welcome them to prove that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave this. I'll leave with this, guys, because it is around 2 hours, and I got to get going.
Yeah.
with my family. But I'll leave with this. I started my TikTok solely to try to just wake up one person, because I had nobody. I literally one. I just wanted to have one person to talk to about flat Earth, and it festered into this. It festered into 150K on TikTok. I've had 2 other accounts that were banned at 150,000. I've got 10K on YouTube. Numbers don't matter. Like you guys said, the whole goal of it was to wake up one person and just have one friend. And now I have thousands of friends that can message me, and I can message back and give them information, and I can learn things from them and you guys. And it's seriously beautiful what this community has given me. And I'm very thankful that people respect my opinion enough to share my videos. Sometimes it really touches me, and it really, like, I can get emotional about it, like with like people sending me messages and telling me that I brought them to God, or I changed their whole outlook, or I changed their child's life, or I made their family closer, or I even gave them entertainment. That is something I never thought I'd be able to do. I didn't think I was somebody that was, anything. I always just thought I was just a normal, I mean, and I am a normal dude, but it's very cool what this community has done, and the self-realization that comes through understanding that the Earth is a level topographical plane. So
I agree, and I will say 2 things to that. One, talking about reaching people, and my mom has sent me a video or 2 of yours. I'm just gonna say, so yes, no, she's. I did
shout
this
out
whole
Ted's mom.
Yeah, I did this whole thing where I was prepared to tell my family, and we did it at a game night at my sister's house. I sat them down, and like my sister was like, "Yeah, well," she was.
That's awesome.
She was like, "Well, I don't believe in dinosaurs or space because it's not in the Bible. So yeah, it makes sense." And my mom was like, "Oh yeah, I don't disagree." I all hyped it up, and then it was like they just agreed with me. So it was fucking cool. But yeah, my mom has literally
That's
sent
awesome.
me.
Lucky.
That's the
some
best
of
way
your
for her to go,
videos.
though.
I
Lucky,
know.
dude. My
know.
dad is a full-on Christian, and he hates what I do, dude. He's a full-on Christian, loves the Bible. I'll explain to him the verses. I'll go through all of it with him. I'll explain what's wrong with the Big Bang and believing in it and Christianity, and he doesn't care. He went to college, and he is fully into science, but he also believes in Christianity. It's really weird, man. So you're honestly really blessed that it went that way.
Oh, I am. I'm very blessed in all aspects of my life, honestly, I will say. And it didn't happen for me. Sorry, I had a rough life, and
Don't die.
I'm not equating it all to that, but I will say that my life improved exponentially when I found Flat Earth, I found a creator, and I realized that my reality depends on my thoughts, and no witchcraft bullshit about manifesting. I'm just saying, like, if you don't believe it, it's never gonna happen. So believe it, do it, and shit changes, and my life changed, and I'm very blessed.
It's amazing to realize that you have purpose, honestly. Like, because the old ways were telling us that we were just nothing but on a speck of dust in an expanse of ever expanding nothingness, right? Like we're nothing.
Yeah,
That's all
I
they've
bought
ever
into
been
it.
telling us. Yeah, it's all they've ever been telling us. And then once you realize you were created for a purpose and you have a purpose, and then you find that purpose, it's an incredible feeling, man. You know, it really is.
It's why we all do this, bro. I think for sure it's why all 4 of us or 5 of us are in this room today. There's no other reason other than the direct realization that God exists and the necessity to give that to his children. So I completely agree. But I do have to step out, guys. I really appreciate the podcast invite. It was a really cool conversation. I'll definitely share it with my audience, with my Telegram and stuff like that. I hope a lot of people come to your guys' podcast, because I feel like you guys have very philosophical and valid views on the world, obviously, as fellow flirts.
Yes.
So thank you guys for inviting me on, man. I really enjoyed the talk.
Thank you for talking with us. Man. We appreciate it.
Same, man. Yeah, thanks
for coming, Caleb.
Thank you, Caleb.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Stay blessed, brother.
Later.
All right. Well, that was awesome. That went smooth.
Yeah, man.
That went smooth.
Yep.
So I guess this is where we say death. Fade it out.
Fade it out.
Hey.
Hey, death faded out.
So yeah, this will be coming out. I'm excited about the episode that came out 7 days ago with Matt Rife. That's gonna be an awesome one. And yeah, it's not really 7 days ago. It's tomorrow, but this will come out in a week. You know what I mean? So
yes, it's gonna be awesome.
The enthusiasm and the peasants.
I think
rejoice.
we're all just stunned.
Yay.
I think we're just stunned, like at these last 2 episodes have been
I know,
pretty
they're
mind blowing. So
we getting out there.
Keep it going.
yeah,
Keep it going, guys.
Until next time, people.
All right,
out
later,
there.
dudes.
Love y'all.
See you in the trenches.
Later.
Dudes and
Peace.
dudettes. Peace.